Excuse me for squinting, everybody. My eyes are screwed up. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jan, and I'm definitely an addict. Amen. Recovering one moment, one situation, one day at a time. One decision at a time. One relationship at a time. We're talking about the maintenance. It is so important for me to understand that I must maintain, even though if I can't always maintain a decision of recovery, I must know that no matter what, this addict cannot use. For this addict, I know a lot of y'all won't agree, but I don't care. For this addict, using is not an option. Because I know my story. I know how I came in here, sat in the back of the meeting, got with the dancers, looked to see who had it, whatever it was at the time. I didn't know what I was looking for. It was such a mixed group of people. Most of them was nodding and scratching. But I finally seen one dude. One of them was fat and light-skinned. He wasn't it. The other one was kind of short. Yeah, it looked like he had a little swag to him. It looked a little fly. He talked a good talk. Okay. And so, you know, we danced. And we danced. And we danced. And then we end up dancing. Okay. But what happened was, you know, when I show up, everything that I am at that moment comes with me. You know, the good, the bad, the indifferent, the might, the maybe, the should, the if I coulda, woulda, and every drop of residue from everybody else slides right on in there too. You know, I'm an addict who keep my story very real. I keep my story very real because I don't want to ever look in the mirror and deny myself the utmost truth about who I really am, whether you're looking or not. I'm not that addict who I like to, let me say this. I've been sharing this a lot lately because it's important for me. When I came here, I had the worst mouth and the worst attitude in the world. I mean, I was nasty. And if anybody in here from South Potomac, exactly 20 years, 2 or 3 days later, I'm that addict who came in here and didn't give a flying fluke what you thought about me. Whatever I had to say, I said it regardless of how it made you feel. No, regardless of how you thought I looked, it didn't matter. I had the nastiest mouth. You know, and I remember sharing with my sponsor back then that she asked me, what did I want to benefit from this program? I'm like, what's your problem and how can we help? I just don't want to be a dressed up guy. I don't want to be the yuck mouth anymore. You know, I just don't want to be her. And my sponsor was like, okay, well, you know, anything you want, you can have. You can have a castle or a hut in here. At this point, we need to start figuring out what's defined as a castle for you and what's described as a hut for you. You know, and she helped me through this process. And needless to say, about in my 10th year, not say about my 7th, 8th year, no, about my 10th year, I don't know. I made a decision after an addict took the risk. And I'm saying this not lightly. You took a risk if you came up to me and made any suggestion. I don't care if it was loving, caring, or whatever. You took a serious risk. You needed to step back because we needed some space to see how I was going to respond. I was terrible, you know. And he came up to me, he said, you know, you got a heck of a message. And you could help so many more people if you just cleaned it up. Now, let me say this to you. My first reaction was my usual reaction. You know, you do this, you that, your mother, and so on and so forth. But then I remembered, you know how God get you these moments of clarity just when you need them? I remembered I told my sponsor what I wanted in the beginning. So after I put my little feelings aside and I gritted on him enough and, you know, I ain't speak to him for a while, one day I made a decision that I was going to at least try to clean it up. And I started to understand what caring and sharing the Narcotics Anonymous way really meant for me. So I made a decision I was not going to use profanity 100% of the time that I shared. It took me a few times, but I'm here to tell you I got it right. So if you hear me curse, you won't. Now you may hear me use some colorful definings of what it is, the point I'm trying to make, but I'm not going to use profanity because I made a decision not to, and I've been practicing that unconditionally for about 10 years now. And I love that about me. You know how good it felt to know I can do something other than what I always did so that I don't get what I always got? That was a great that gave me the hope. Because hear me, 10 years in recovery, this was a good idea. So all the previous years, I was working my way up, out, through, and around some stuff. And a few people. You know what I'm saying? And be careful, because you really, about the atmosphere you put around your recovery, because you are what you eat. Especially if you were swallowing. Now let me stop. That's just for those. She ready. She ready. If you took in spiritually, physically, emotionally, or any other way the essence of some things or somebody's else, you became those some things and somebody. You know how your story changed? You know what I'm saying? And not always for the greater good, because you ain't done emptying out everything yet. When I took a sixth step with my sponsor, I wanted to sort through the confusion and confliction and the lies and the alibis I told, because I didn't want to believe that I could really be that good. I accepted how bad I was. I was comfortable with that because I had learned how to survive with it. It got me over, it got me through, it got me up under, it got me to a position where people only knew what I needed them to know. Mind you, I'm telling you my true story. But some part of it, the nasty, self-righteous part, I was really like sharing with you, but I was also like raping you. Because anytime you bought off to what I was telling you, even I didn't know where to take you to get free. All I knew how was to share my sickness. And I infested a lot of people just with my dead spirit itself. That's not what I wanted to do, but I really didn't know who I wanted to be when I grew up in this process. All I knew was I didn't want to use. I did not want to smoke crack. I did not want to sell crack. I didn't want to keep going to jail. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to stop screwing. That's just my story. Be honest with you, I still ain't on that page yet, but I may get there and I may not. But I'm going to keep hope alive. Because if you're the addict that want to practice saying no like all the time, you might want to talk to Sylvia or Janice or some other Pat, my sponsor. She could tell you how to be successful. That ain't my story. And best believe, now I'm not advertising, but I am going to tell my story. Newcomer, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm saying if I was going to do it, I was going to get me some money, okay? If I'm going to be left with the same wet stain and empty pillow, it's going to be some money in the drawer. I mean, at the end of the day, when I came to believe that truth will set me free. Truth. Being honest was not sufficient after a while, because I learned that I could honestly straight up convince you of anything I needed to for that moment. But when truth entered into my spirit, there was no turning back. It's nothing like the relief of letting go and letting God. Like in any area of my life that I truly want to change. Like I said, I stopped cursing when I shared because I wanted to. I got married in this process. And I married just what I was. I got mad at him for being who he was, but I chose him because who I was. I was embodied in prison. In my body, in my spirit, in my soul, I was in prison. He was actually in prison. I'm just going to tell you. He was inmate number. But we had a plan. Okay? And we convinced ourselves that this was biblical. We convinced each other. I thought he convinced me, but I actually probably convinced me. He was, already convinced that when the Bible said first should be last and last should be first, he was my very first and I was his. So we was convinced we were supposed to be each other's last. It had to admit that. That's the only thing that made sense. We popped each other's cherry. We was 12 and 13 years old. We just knew that we were supposed to die popping each other's cherry. We didn't invite God in. We didn't ask no, but we made a conscious decision to ride off in the sunset with that. And we got what we got. But to somewhere in that 6 years, baby, 6 year process of him being an inmate, me taking care of him, me working triple overtime, me still, assuming some positions to make sure that I can get on the plane because he wasn't nowhere around him, okay? It took some traveling to get to that pain, baby. Cost me a lot of time, money, effort, energy. And in my mind, it was a fine idea because I was going to be Mrs. Parker because I hadn't still accepted Janita Birch. I felt like I needed completion. Like the work God had been doing in me all those years was no longer sufficient because I thought I needed a title. Sponsorship, being somebody's sponsor, even somebody's grand sponsor, doing stuff. None of that was working anymore. I needed to complete the cycle. I needed to make the dream real. Because that's all I wanted to be was, Mrs. So-and-so at some point. I forgot to say I wanted to be happy. I didn't pray to God to ask him to be genuine. I didn't pray to ask him to be loyal, respectful, dignified. I didn't ask him to have a heart like your heart, Father God. I didn't ask him any of that. All I said was let him keep breathing because he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in the process. And I felt proud to be able to go. Even with my family telling me, maybe no. The dream had to become real for me too. I need the lie to breathe. And when he came home, halfway house home, he never quite made it all the way home. This brother had a 9-month halfway house. I'm telling you my story. I like to tell my right now story in my step walk. When he had a 9-month halfway house, he would come home for weekends or sometimes weeks at a time, and he was vulgar. He was disrespectful. He spread so many lies on me that anybody that would listen. He was violent. And he was a drug dealer in the halfway house. And the things that I allowed made me so ashamed to come around the meetings of Narcotics Anonymous because that was not what I was about. I may have gotten everything, but one thing I knew I did not want to be is in that life again. But I had to be Mrs. So-and-so. It was nothing else. Where else was I going to go? I was about to tell. The dream was at least before I'm 50. I mean, come on. Well, it didn't happen before I was 50. But in that process, I got hawk spitted on. I got my face fractured. Yeah. Keep making decisions by yourself, old timer, newcomer. Clean time does not equal recovery. I'm talking about the maintenance of understanding my walk. And I'm going to be spiritually honest with you. So somebody in here may not make that mistake. But if you do, you can get out of it before it got to where mine got to. God had to deliver me. He removed him. Because I couldn't make a decision. I made a decision that August 18th he had to move, but that was 3 months away. And I couldn't tell my family. Because I thought it was more important to protect him from going back to jail than to get free. So I lived in bondage. So I masked it with Louis Vuitton bags, Chanel bags, Louis Vuitton shoes, Gucci shoes, you name it, I masked with it. God is not a respecter of things. And I ain't giving them back, let me just say that. Okay? I ain't said that, you know. And when he was finally removed, he got caught up in a conspiracy in a halfway house. I was angry because now I had to sit with myself again. I had to do it all over again. I lost identity again. God took me right back to where I was when I made that decision. So this time I would choose him. And I came to the podium, I reported what had happened to me, what I participated in, how I was feeling, and what I didn't want to do anymore for real. And I asked for some real help this time. And people that hadn't spoke to me in years, because of who I told you I was, showed up. And they're in my life actively right now, loving me back to this life that Narcotics Anonymous and God gave me. They're loving me unconditionally because I am not the victim of somebody else. I am the chooser of my own demise. And I take full responsibility. I take full responsibility. And when he calls my phone, I get irritated. I don't want to talk to him. I'm in the process of trying to get divorced. I did tell you I'm married, right? No, you didn't. And what I'm so afraid of is that I'm so, as my old sponsors are telling me, help the dummy, that I'm still stuck on stupid, that I'll pick somebody just like him again. Did I mention I have 20 uninterrupted years in this process?
Yes, say that, girl. Yes.
There's no shame in going down. The shame is not getting back up. So thanks to my network and my family, oh my God, my family. My family is so awesome. You know, the one I didn't want to be around? The mother that I didn't want to be nothing alike. The sisters that just didn't understand have not yet said, I told you so. They love me so much. Even when I'm incapable, even when I'm so stuck on stupid, I don't even know that I'm not loving me because I'm so used to that backwards behavior. So it took a minute, it took a lot for me to come back and face the recovering addict. Well, I don't know your story. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're hiding. I don't know if you're walking on water. I don't know if you're tricking. I don't know if you're stealing. I don't know if you're gambling. There's a whole lot of gambling addicts up in this motherfucker. One disease, many symptoms. Let's just go there. But what I do know is that when your butt falls off, you bring it here with us. The whore, the thief, the one that's living in secrecy and in its homosexuality, the womanizer, the one that's cheating on their husband, wife, and their boyfriend. Especially the one that's participating and know it. You bring it to us. The dressed up garbage can. The liar. The rapist. The child molester. Whatever you bring up in here, you heal. Bring it in here. We'll help you put it back together one day at a time. But when God puts in your spirit, let me go here with you through prayer and meditation. We're going to walk at 11. Through prayer and meditation, God will reveal your dis-ease to you. He will make it clear to your understanding why you make these decisions. And when he reveal it, that everybody in here ain't working on coming through deliverance, and he tells you, shows you, and helps you separate, be the woman and the man of God that he has brought you to so that you can stand in your recovery, in your spirit man, in your spirit woman, in your prayer meditation, and right into the help for the next addict and back off. See, I'm no longer not going to walk through the door when he opened it because I understand. I was just talking to my sister the other day. I need to get back into not just praying but showing up for God. I need to get back to that one-on-one relationship. Because without it, the help that I'm going to give you, newcomer, when you ask me to sponsor you or when you ask me to lead meetings, I'm going to help your sickness, not your spirit. Disease begets disease. So when he shows you who I really am, I'm going to keep it on me. When he shows you who I really am in that minute, you better believe it. And make a conscious decision through your 11-step prayer meditation. Is this a risk you're willing to take? And if you're unsure, that's what the sponsorship and the network is for. As Sister Gloria would say, you need to get a net that works. Don't she say it all the time? So when I come and I try to carry this message, if I don't tell you my right now story and I stay stuck in the back parts of it, you'll never know that recovery is still possible for me, so it's still possible for you, in spite of what you do. And if you got my story, who you do. It doesn't matter. We are here for each one to teach one. And you don't need to teach me the book. I can read. And if I can't read, I can listen to tapes. You can show me in how you live. Show me how you got through it. If I don't have a God of my understanding, I can come to you and ask you to show me your God. Teach me how to pray. A dude I was dating taught me how to not meditate, but just sit in God's presence. Not asking for nothing, no expectations. He started reading to me. I thought we were supposed to do the one leg, but he wanted to feed my spirit. I was all ready to pay in advance. He wanted to see me heal. Because he saw the dead spirit in me. I hadn't evolved to that place yet. I was still making it off the big butt and the pretty smile. To this day, that brother's one of my closest friends. And I'm talking genuine. I have been blessed with some relationships with some men in here. With men who have no other alternatives, no other secret. You know, I hate when they wait till you go to a breakup and you've been rolling with them as your road dog for years, and then they come and, you know, always, I mean, Sheila, what Wink tell me? What Wink tell me? Oh, maybe not today, but maybe someday. I was like, what? You're supposed to be my brother. See, I come from being molested by my brother. So you can't play brother, sister with me and not be genuine. Because you raped me all over again. And I'm trying to stop raping me. I'm trying to stop assuming the position. So be real. Any lust issues you have, go to your sponsor with that. Especially don't wait till I'm in the vulnerable. You think I'm vulnerable. But when I'm vulnerable, I'm angry. And I will tear you out the frame. And I'm going to get your money. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to get your money. So now I'm going to carry this message. And I'm trying to show you that I have learned to the best of my ability to care and share with you the Narcotics Anonymous way. So that means I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to lie to you. Because I'm no longer willing to lie to me. I'm not going to take a risk with you. I'm going to step out on faith with you. And I'm going to tell you that I genuinely love you. I don't have any other agenda. So don't get in an agenda place with me, because that way we both can come up clean. I'm tired of being dirty looking clean. I want to come up clean. But that means we need to go down clean. Let's plant some stuff on some fertile ground so we can get some true growth in here. I need my spirit alive. I need to be fed, not screwed. And you can't set my prices no way. This is not up for negotiation. So we're going to carry this message. We're going to keep loving on each other. Newcomer, whatever you do, keep coming back. Old timer, whatever you do, keep coming back. Person that's in the middle, I don't even know why you're here, but the program is for you too. But this ain't just for addicts. This is just for us, by us. But we welcome everything and everybody. So the manifestation of this. Man, I love y'all, man. And with that, I want to tell y'all, let's keep coming. Thanks for letting me share.